Hello, everybody, and we're back. Quick change of casters. Hello, I'm Midgeman. I'm a community ambassador for Paradox, and I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Vasi. I am a community manager for Paradox as well, and I work on the spamming games.
Yeah. So I'm now going to have to try... I've also been here for this event as the stream controller. We'll get right back into the action because, boy, oh boy, has it gotten a bit crazy. I need to now try and communicate to the stream. Can you put, it's called scene small, I think, or scene main, and then fade it. Yeah, that one, and then hit the fade button again. Cool. So, yeah, I have been here doing... I've been let out of my other desk, and I've been allowed in front of the camera, and I might get tackled if I'm, you know, if they find out that I'm here. But anyway, the absolute ravaging of the papacy has begun. Following that battle, there was a battle just while we were off camera that split the forces of Livonia and the papacy and Britain out of Italy. And now Russia, Nepal, everything is ongoing. We've got two major battles with Persia and Britain going the way of the Sicilian general here. And we've also got a Russian victory over here in Lucca. How much of the stream have you been following?
As much as is possible for anyone else watching. So we've got now... how long has Texas been on this side of the planet?
So Texas has just landed, I think. The Texans and the Americans have now taken up the fight that the Mamluks couldn't complete, and they're keeping France a little bit occupied down here. Is that also Somalia here as well? And we're about to see a battle here in Malaga. The Texan 3-star that Mathieu kept saying is ready to fight is here and ready to fight. However, that French morale is no joke. 114,000 French against 70,000 Texans. This is, I don't think it's going to go in the way of the alliance down here. Amazingly, though, America has managed to get naval dominance with Gotland, and they're causing havoc. However, there's also a battle going on over here in Como, which the papacy, I mean, they've got the defensive terrain, but there's so many enemies around them. I don't think it's worth them fighting. No, they've chosen to leave. So the French have won in the south, but Italy seems all but lost. Do you think we're going to see a peace deal soon?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, it's been pretty close most of this time, or at least kind of on the edge. And I assume it's probably hard to conduct any diplomacy between this many nations all running around. The castle's quite large, so it's going to be like a fair bit of back and forth, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. As if you're just joining us for the first time, all these teams, each nation here has 3 players. One person will be controlling at all times, whilst others will either be advising or, most likely, in this case, running from room to room of this castle, which is no joke. I have been running around this castle as well when I can, and there are people through every corridor. There's going to be people shouting. It's a lot of coordination is going on because they're not using Discord. It's all manual messengers, and I think they've been doing an excellent job of coordinating these battles, considering that. But anyway, the carpet siege of the Kingdom of God is looking rather grim, if I'm totally honest. The devastation's got to be trying to climb right now. Yeah, the Kingdom of God as well, starting to hemorrhage money. They are going to want to look to be out of this war, which is not going in their favor anymore. The sides were very even. I mean, I've been sitting, and I think when Silly finally picked a side, it kind of threw the balance just ever so slightly in the favor of the everyone that's outside of the Europe Alliance. We haven't come up with alliance names yet for these. So let us designate them some names. So what are we calling the two factions that we've got
Doing
going
some
on?
brainstorming. I mean, it did start off as, was it the African Union, I think they were calling themselves?
The African Union. Well, it expands more than Africa.
They've gone very far beyond Africa. They've even gone outside the bounds of religion, I believe. It's not just a holy war at this stage.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to re-angle your microphone a little bit. There you go.
All good. I'll try to speak up as well.
But yeah, as we were saying, what do we think on these alliances? Chat as well. What do you think we should call these these various alliance chains? Well, it's now factions at this point.
God versus gods. I was thinking maybe the focus is more antagonistic than constructive in in its purpose.
Either way, we're kind of at a small lull. Well, actually, I say that there is a Livonian fight against, who is this? Maywar. This is Maywar with their just fighting in Germany. People from all over the world have been brought to fight through Germany, and it's... Oh, no, wait, we've got another big conflict as well with Nepal fighting Livonia in southern Italy and eastern Sicily here. And Livonia actually might take this despite fighting. They've only got 37,000 to 104 enemies, but that -4 is destroying Serbia there. Wow. Wow. They did sadly lose, but due to the reinforcements, but honestly, good fight.
Yeah.
And Livonia have been absolutely carrying. Can you see casualties? I will try to look at some casualties now. We are at 3.29 million casualties for the papal side versus the 3.7 million to the Andalusian side. 1.6 of those Andalusians is to attrition, whilst 800 is to attrition on the papacy side. Massive losses. A big note here, though, on the Andalusian side. 75 naval losses as well, where to the 15 to the papacy and Britain. Britain and the papacy being very reserved with their fleets, it seems, not wanting to tango with Gotland. We've also got another battle in Italy. Zimbabwe being caught out by the British here. The fabled Zimbabwean man who walked up to fight has now been caught and is sent packing by over 200,000 papal coalition members. And Texas is now out of Iberia. We're slowly stabilizing the fronts here from the Western Europeans. We need this. We need these names. We need faction names. That's what I need something to call these people, because calling them all the Pope was disingenuous to all the other alliance members, and also calling the other people the people trying to bring down the Pope is probably not conducive.
Pope killers.
Pope killers. God versus the heretics was coined. Okay, no, I like that. That could. Pope crushers.
The Pope nopers.
The Pope nopers. No, I'm going with it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
I think that's good. Pope nopers.
The anti-Pope. Yes, that was an obvious one we didn't pick up on.
Yeah. We've got another battle in Westphalia with Russia. This is a Russian conquistador that is 6650. Defensive planner is trying to find a new world settlement in Westphalia, it seems. But Westphalia's troops are absolutely destroying. I think they've kind of been underestimated more so than any other of the Western European nations. Everyone was scared of Livonia. Everyone was scared of Britain. People know that France has Elan. The Kingdom of God have been, punching their weight all game. And then Westphalia here, the only people that have felt their wrath really is Swabia. And now everyone else is going, oh no, these guys have no chill. And it is showing. Russia did manage to manhandle that situation, though, and by sheer brute of force, and some extra Maywaran troops managed to push Westphalia back. the Papal Coalition, the Popers versus the Nopers. Oh, the Popers versus the Nopers. Okay, so the Popers here are, I think they're spread too thin at this point. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think the Popers need to do to recover this situation at this point? Can they?
I don't know. I mean, we've seen some... I feel like a lot of people were saying the same thing about Livonia before they... I think was that day 1 or day 2 where they managed to basically take most of the Baltic coast.
And it was day 1 where they went 1v6 on everyone in northern Germany, yeah.
So I feel like it's always too early to call. There's always probably some kind of 5D chess going on that we're not privy to from our little box here. But it's not looking amazing. There's, I mean, yeah.
Livonia is actually really low on troops, and they were kind of one of the... Livonia and Great Britain were really the manpower pools of this war because France couldn't join until much later. So Livonia being down to essentially 170, 80k stack, that's a little bit worrying considering even though... no, Russia does kind of double them in force limit, and they had the sort of even manpower at that time. It's hard. I think the Western Europeans are just feeling the brunt of their manpower pools. The Pope is going to just slowly be racking up loans. He's already up to, just by a look at it, about 10. Whilst everyone else, whilst they're out of manpower, their lands aren't under threat right now. It's the Pope, it's the Western Europeans that are struggling. There is oh no, that's a rebel stack that spawned under Texas. I was like, Texas is fighting. No, they're not. They're not. Livonia's entire army now, though, are they're in Sicily. They're making sure that at least the Pope holds on to some of Italy, it seems. But it seems the Nopers here are happy with just sitting on the Pope's lands. They're not wanting to push into France right now. As I say that, though, Persia looks to be gearing up against the British standing in Nice. And here they go. They have taken a negative on this battle. It's only a -1 in the hills here. Will we see reinforcements, or are Britain just going to leave that? Oh, no, they are going in. They're looking to go in. Britain's morale is failing here. Britain's actually got less morale than they've been having earlier. They're down to 6.5. I believe they're in the 7s earlier. They must have lost an advisor or something. And that 130% discipline from Persia is just... There we go. Wasn't a stack wipe, but there was some damage there.
Not quite, no. There was a small stack wipe. I think some Portuguese tried to land in the Iberian Peninsula and got wiped out pretty quickly.
Oh, some British did just get stack wiped on their own fort in northern Italy there, though. That in Tornio here. Persia coming back fighting. And, I mean, this is a worldwide coalition of Nopers here. Look at the unit models. It just shows the craziness of this alliance. We've got Korean troops. We've got Zimbabwean troops. We've got Persians. We've got Japanese sitting in Western Italy. It's unheard of. Who is this? This is Hassa. This is Nepal. In fact, the most European of all of these, or sorry, the westernized of all of these in the Nopers coalition are down here in Spain. Oh. And even then, that was a rough battle. France really still going, no, you're not allowed over here. Look, I don't care what's happening in my alliance. I'm holding up my end of the bargain. That's where France is sat. And it is just a worldwide coalition going, Pope, this is enough. This is enough. You're not allowed. Russia up here as well, just with this alliance. It's wild. This is wild. And I don't think I could have guessed on day 1 of the Grandest Lan that this is where we would be. But this is where we are.
Yeah, and I think, there's only really one way to go from here. How do you think this will end for the Papal State? Oh, God, Kingdom of God, the Popers.
I really hope, just to rub it in, that they don't take any land, but they force the Pope to not be Catholic in some way. That would be, I think, the glorious thing from here. But what I really think we're going to see, I reckon Gotland's going to get a load of islands. I think that possibly Serbia might get the southern part of Italy, and outside of that, I'm not overly sure because I don't know who's really looking to grab land here. I think this was more trying to tear apart the coalition. Probably not right now. Either way, this is. I think this is the Pope can't recover from this. It's up to how much the Allies then lose from this. I think France has to not get sieged. I think if they want to make sure that they're ready for another war. We are taking a pause here. I wonder if this is for the surrender of the papacy and this alliance. Russia was working actively on some sieges in Westphalia, and will we see border changes? Do you think we're going to see border changes here? Oh, do you? Oh, no. Okay. What? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, well, thank you for the information. So there we have. Apparently, they're going to be made to give up Iberia. Will it stay at that though? And will the papacy take that? Will we see another war return? Will we see a new alliance chain form? Because the thing is, we are early in the day. This is what session? This is casting session 2 of the final day. This isn't going to be the last battle. So from here, what happens? I think.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what will become of the Papal State from here on in. I think the vibe a lot of their power seem to be in just generally their alliances are making anyone else kind of too scared to sort of oppose them. But, I mean, they've certainly been put in their place. So I guess it's also a question of where we think that the balance of power might be shifted in the aftermath of this, because it's certainly no longer going to be in the Kingdom of God's favour. They'll probably lose some territory, or, well, they are going to supposedly lose some territory in Iberia. What do you see coming from this?
I don't know how I do not know for how long the Nopas will remain as one alliance at this point.
Oh, it's purely an alliance of convenience.
Exactly.
And those never last. Once you've knocked out your enemy, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
then you just start eating yourself.
And
that would be fun.
I wonder if we're going to see a big split over here, and then maybe the Popers will return with a vengeance while these guys are going at each other's throats, and we might see a resurgence. The Pope might rise again. You think Swabia's days are numbered? Yes. So Swabia, of course, were the people that essentially started this and then didn't get involved. Now everyone around them is going to have truces. No one's going to be able to defend them. So we think Swabia is pretty much a goner at this point, unless they vassalize themselves to Westphalia, I think, which I don't think they'll want to do out of their own spirit here. Is this a 2-day event? No, this is day 3 of 3. We have been going since Thursday evening, so it's a 2.5-day event. We did a half day on Thursday, but we are going until 11 p.m. CEST tonight. So we still have basically 10.5 hours of gameplay, and it is going on. There is the peace deal, but Gotland's in a different war, so Gotland now is interesting. So Gotland hears their war against the Pope with Zimbabwe as well, and the Mamluks is a separate conflict. They might now, be attacked by the Western Alliance here. The Popers might go, well, we lost the main war. However, we can get some stuff back. Actually, Andalusia didn't gain much. Andalusia actually didn't gain much there. Kingdom of God still has... Interesting. I am very concerned. They didn't have the forts, so they couldn't ask for that in the peace deal. Whoa. Interesting. Did they just wipe peace? How long is the truce timer? It's It's a
1607?
it's a 9-year truce.
Yeah.
So something. It wasn't. So no one took land. Otherwise, it would have been 10 years. So was it just alliance breaks? Andalusian got some coastline back. They did. Oh, was they get a few bits down here? Yes. No, you're right. They did get a little bit down here.
And the Pope is still Catholic.
The Pope is still Catholic, as the old adage goes. And I wish they would have forced the Pope to not be Catholic. That would have made me laugh more than anything. Mamluks here, sitting on Rome. So I don't know how much you caught of it, but the Mamluks so far today have been stack wiped about 4 times. I don't think this is where they want to put their troops right now, considering the war that just happened. I wonder if, though, they are trying to piece this out as well, which is why we might still be on pause here. So, chat, where do you think we're going to see the next flashpoint? Where do you think the next conflict is going to be? Is it going to be a European focused one, or are we going to see something elsewhere, perhaps in India? This uneasy dichotomy here between Mewar, Orissa, and Nepal, with Orissa's conflict in Malacca still going in. Will we see some other players getting the ring? Will we see a Southeast Asian versus Northeast Asian? The Levant. Jerusalem is no more. True Frankfurt, is no more. Serbia has now bordered the Mamluks. So Serbia gained the most from this. Interesting. That's got to rile up the Pope, because the Pope and Serbia were together for so long. Like, they established a good, cordial relationship, and then Serbia allowed troops through, and then Serbia joined against the Pope. And that is what began our swing into the World War. So Serbia gaining the most out of this, that's got to sting.
They've definitely had, I don't even know if I want to call it a lucky run. I mean, Serbia hasn't experienced too many significant setbacks for this entire campaign. So, I mean, I feel like it's high time they got something coming to them.
Yeah, I mean, Serbia, a partitioning of Serbia could be an interesting conflict point as well. You do put a good point. You know, you can just show the peace deal. We can't, unfortunately. In observer mode, we couldn't get up the notifications to see the peace deals. It's something to do with how we've been dealing with the saves for the event, unfortunately. I will double check, though. No, I don't think we can, unfortunately. I mean, maybe we can get it in the history of Serbia. In the minor papal conquest, the historians talk about how the British fought the Russians at the Battle of Treviso. Which one? Oh dear! Wow. Oh look, Peter's in this history. Peter, the Russian general that was talked about a lot last session as well. Okay, yeah. In his reign, the provinces of Gaza, True Frankfurt, and Jaffa were gained. Okay, this is as good as we're gonna get. This that's as clear a list as any. History of the Popes, and also a good one. Good shout, stream team, or honorary stream team, as I'm here. Yes. Oh, you found the buttons. If you go to like the 3rd page, that's where the EU4 sound effects ones are as well, if you want to know. Air horn is top right on that original panel. And sad trombone is bottom left of panel 1 as well. There you go. But yes, okay. History of the Kingdom of God. So the provinces Maya, Hakan City, Gaza, True, Frankfurt, and Jaffa lost. So 5 provinces. That's not many provinces, considering how bloody that war was.
I was just about to say, I'm not entirely sure this was worth how many. There were about 1.5 million casualties on each side.
More than that. It was about 7 million total in the end.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
How many is that per day? Are we able to get those stats up, or is that more of a...
I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, we are rolling again, though, now. So
Yeah.
a peace deal hasn't come in for the Mamluks. So, oh, Mamluks, you might want to get out of Rome because there is 100,000 Livonians looking for revenge. It is... Oh, dear. So... Yeah, in the period, that would have been probably about a third of Europe's population died in that war, which is wild.
I think, is that more than the plague?
Yeah, I think that's more than the
That's
plague.
more than the plague. What are the manpower reserves looking like for King of the Gods? Pretty much. Oh, slowly getting back up.
Yeah, I mean, they're ticking up already.
But they're going to be pretty depleted. I mean, everyone's kind of running on empty at this stage.
France isn't. The other thing we need to check is obviously how much recruitment standards they can slacken. So France still has 50%. Okay, Kingdom of God is completely out of professionalism. So they have the 6,000 men in the bank. That's all they have. We've also got Livonia, still got room to slacken. Russia couldn't slacken anymore. Wow, Russia went through some serious casualties in that war because they had about 160k in the bank before the war, and I think they were on the 3rd level of professionalism. Now it is dead. They're gone. There is nothing. There is 2,000 men left to refill the Russian stocks. Livonia, they're doing okay. They've still got 2 levels of professionalism. I'm always wary to go lower than 2 levels of professionalism. So the fact that other nations had to, Persia had some manpower left, but they're completely out of professionalism. The only person that came out of that without losing everything is Serbia, who have still managed to maintain 87% army professionalism. Britain, who were almost, I think they were about 87 at the beginning of the war as well, they're down to 33%. They've got manpower in the bank, but boy, oh boy, did they have to put men through the ringer. And here we go. Mamluks, I've seen this meme, and it's not a meme that I want to reference on stream. But you are not in a good way, friend. You are surrounded, and it's not looking good. There we go. The 5th Mamluk stack wipe. Thank you for the Mamluks were the #1 great power for a while. They are still the #1 great power. How? How are they the #1 great power when that is the showing militarily? There's nothing great. They've got 69 army tradition, and their tradition is death. And they have 127 army capacity as well, force limit, and they're using 48 of it right now. They were at 70 for that 30k. They're losing 30 ducats a month in interest. What have they done? How many loans do they have? Only 10? When did they take these loans? Last year. Sorry. That's when they're due again.
19 loans.
How long have they had their loans that they're getting 30 ducats interest? 36 ducats interest. What idea groups do they have? They've got economic as well, so this just shouldn't be happening. They've just ruined their economy here, and they've crossed into North Africa. They're taking this war again. Like I said, the Papal Alliance, the Popers, are dealing with the latter half of the Nopers. I think Gotland will be looking for a separate peace as to not be dragged down with its ill-fated allies for this second half of the original war. And yeah, how's the Orissa War going? They are still standing in Malacca because they lost all their boats. So they are stuck there. They've either got to hope that they've got the war goal and it will tip to 100%, which I think they do. They do, but they won't have enough forts or anything to take anything more than, say, probably half of the this area. I'm forgetting what region of the world this is. Singapore. Well, not anymore. That's very hoy of us to say that that's Singapore. But anyway, let's hope Gotland keeps Malta, Majorca, Venice after that peace deal. Well, Gotland are out. They've grabbed Malta, I think. Yep. We have Maltese, Catholic, Norse, Gotlander, Malta.
They are really spread thin, and they're in Australia. They're in 2 sections of Australia.
They're in 2 sections of Australia?
They've got the southeast.
Fantastic. And the other person in Australia is Aachen, our old emperor.
Oh, they made it across the pond to Australia.
They're
Good
also
on
in
them.
Tasmania. And they've gone animist. They've given up Catholicism as well.
And Sunni.
And they've given up Catholicism. They've given up Sunni. They've gone in protest of all of what's happening in Europe. Aachen, the emperor, is now animist. There you go. I think that just sums up Grandest Lan, really. The NPC character is so fed up, they've moved to the other side of the world, and they found a new religion. Like,
they're just reinventing themselves. You know?
Yeah,
there's been a lot of that.
Yeah, they're reinventing themselves. They're going on like a journey of self. The emperor is just trying to refine themselves.
I was just thinking this morning when I woke up, like, massive props to Silly for starting as an OPN and still being silly.
Yeah, honestly, they've played a very conniving game, because for a while it was looking really rough because the Pope was manhandling everybody and they didn't want people in Italy, and Silly had the half of northern Italy, but they made a deal. They moved the other way under the Pope's guidance, gave up their Italian land, and now they became the kingmaker of that last war. When Silly joined against the Pope, that gave the Nopa alliance so much room to maneuver, much more safety. They had Silly's forts on their side, and it allowed for them to position themselves well and take out the Pope. The Pope is not going to forget that. The Pope is not going to forget that. The Mamluks, yes, are going down. They are yelling timber, and because of the state of their army, they better run. And in the France. I wonder who will gain the land here. I wonder if France will actually take the territory as not to create an antagonist to the Pope again. I wonder if we'll see almost them proxy take this land, because we're not seeing the transfer of states here. There is a battle about to happen here in modern-day Libya, in Fezzan here, and 2,000 French horsemen have been caught by the Mamluks, but hilariously, I don't think they might stack wipe. They will stack wipe, but honestly, there was probably about a couple of days before the fact that they might not have stack wiped there. Kind of proves how rough the Mamluk army is.
Oh, and they're continuing. Oh no, they cancelled that movement.
What's this war for? So this is originally the Mamluks' aggressive war to take Cagliari. Now, with no Gotland in here, I don't think that they're going to get there. Something tells me here that the Mamluks aren't going to get into Cagliari and Sardinia, and I think there's 129 reasons. If I'm totally honest. Yeah. Oh, I think whilst I was doing that, I think the Mamluks got stack wiped again.
They're not doing great.
This is the #1 world power, everybody. Oh, yeah, it's not looking good. Jerusalemite Brazil, however, looking a bit more solid. This is now our Tinto devs. This is Paradox Tinto, who have been graciously given Jerusalemite Brazil. They're back to Catholic as well. I think they were Sunni at one point. So it's a little wild. Okay. What's your favorite nation been for this game so far? What have you enjoyed watching the story of the most?
Oh gosh, it honestly keeps changing, and I feel like there's a couple cool things happening. I really liked, so early on, Psikov and Perm kind of got booted out and then respawning obviously as Miwa and Orisa and continuing that alliance. I thought that was, quite beautiful, quite beautiful. I have loved the nation formerly known as Frankfurt. I think they've just been keeping up a really good, keeping the meme strong and just generally having a good time. And holding their own and, well, do the best that they can. Because they're in
Peru
Jerusalem.
now. Yeah, Jerusalem here. Not Jerusalem, it's Jerusalem.
I stole that bit from you. I just typed it in the chat. No?
Again, don't worry. You're really fitting in with the Paradox ideals there because, Paradox's whole shtick is Midgeman makes ideas and other people steal. No.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Whoa. No, that's just
Gotland.
that's
North
just
Scotland was also
North Scotland.
that was
is pretty wild.
Beautiful.
No, it's not a Paradox thing. That's a Benjamin Magnus thing, and I know his wife is listening in chat, so she can laugh at that. Either way, no, I agree. There've been North Scotland have been a real. I don't want to give them too much fan because we've seen two of the Gotlanders who have been on stream a few times, but there is a third Gotlander, and that third Gotlander is from Gotland and is also my boss. So I don't want to give them too much credit because it's going to look like nepotism, but they have been doing really well.
That's all right. I'm neutral.
We're all employees here.
Some conflict of interest. What about you? So if we're removing Gotland from the equation.
I mean, Livonia were a big surprise when they 1v6'd everyone on the first day. We were just like, there was the whole, we're gonna need to call an ambulance, but not for me. It was, I don't think anyone expected that. Now, they are also trying to go Norse, which is exciting. However, they didn't really, the fact that they got, they did so well because they were the first people to get to that 130% discipline sort of god tier remark. The peace deal has happened with the Mamluks, so I will come to that quickly. Alexandria, Tripoli, Tunis have all gone to the Pope, and that was it from this war? Is that seriously it? Also, I spy another Gotlander colony. How did they get that from the Mamluks? Did they buy that? They buy Djerba?
They are so sneaky. I
love it.
I do love it.
Gotland is just goated at this point. But so I mean they didn't I think their glory day of day one, where they were stomping on everyone in Livonia, has passed because everyone else is kind of caught up. They've learned from the best, clearly, but early day these guys were like my champions, I think. Honestly, though, I'm not sure who I will say is my favorite because there's been Westphalia have been a very weird underdog. They were trapped in the hug box of Germany and have come out as the only survivor. Great Britain did an awesome game as Holland and pushed 2 players out to the New World. I have a really strong love of the absolute meme that is the Scottish Sunni United States of America, who are, Highlander culture, not Scottish. So there's Americans in kilts. And one of the reasons I love this nation more than anything is 2 of the players are walking around in kilts. They have a team mascot, which is a Highland cow that is sat on their desk and it moves. And I've been trying to convince them to bring it on the stream. And they are just, their whole idea is, what's the next funny thing we can do? And I told them, try and go Zoroastrian. So maybe. Speaking of Persia.
Yes, is Persia still Zoroastrian?
They are, and they have finished the monument as well, which is why we were seeing such devastating combat ability from the Persians, because if I remember, it's somewhere up here. Is it Sherbet? Yes. So this gives 10% discipline, 5% land fire damage, and 10% fire damage received less. It just makes you hardcore. Like, that's honestly, that is a scary set of bonuses to get when for going Zoroastrian. I don't know if Zoroastrian itself has. No, it's trade efficiency. Okay, I didn't know if it had combat ability. It's just, yeah, that is a monument and a half. The next war will be bloody. The last war was bloody. Where were you? Sorry. Did you miss the 7 million dead in 1590? I'm pretty, like, if that happened in reality, I don't think any of us would exist. There would be enough butterfly effect for this, the world to not be the same. Did global trade spawn? Did global trade spawn? Now, where is the institution map mode? Because nobody, I now get to be the one that complains about the map modes here.
Yes, this is not what I'm used to at all.
Where there is, I'm trying to find it manually. Global trade did indeed spawn in York, which is of course the British capital in this this game. As a southerner, this hurts. Right, I'm just going to ignore that. Printing press is also fine. But yeah, I think global trade is where we're up to now in May of 1600. All of it sticking around Europe for now. Actually, every institution center is controlled by the popers. Interesting. It's not capital, luckily. Oh, is it not? I thought it was. I thought they moved the capital up here. They did for a bit. Was it the trade capital they moved there first? Where's the capital of Britain?
I think.
I swear it was York.
They were in.
Have they moved it back to the Netherlands? They've moved it back to the Netherlands. They've moved it back to Den Haag. So after all those war crimes, they've decided that they needed their capital to be the Hague.
Their homeland. And I was so I don't know if the stream saw it, but they also renamed London to Londek-Zdrój, which I'm told is it's a Polish joke of types of sorts.
Oh no, really?
Yes. So it was interesting to see them there for a bit.
I'm just glad they didn't rename my home county. That's fine. Apparently, you can release England as still as a core. That could be devastating for Great Britain if someone managed to do that. I wonder what the war score of that would be. To do so, that would be very interesting that those cores exist. It might have been to prevent the Dutch revolts. I don't think they will have the Dutch revolts because they formed the Dutch tag. So we're past that. Oh, it was for a bit, even though because they made it a secondary culture again. They shouldn't get the Dutch revolts though, because of the capital. I see. Empress Elizabeth Tudor. Okay, she's a 665. Oh wow, that's a leader. They're still a federal empire, so they have elective. It's an elective monarchy in Britain. Because I've seen some very interesting dynasty names, but this is the first time there's actually been an English monarch for a while. But that's very interesting. Londek-Zdrój, I've destroyed that, was a place in a comedy made in Polish communist state about London. Oh, interesting.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I think the Netherlands team are Polish.
Yeah, well,
yes.
It's got the influence of Slavic on. So and everyone's like, "Where's Slavic?" Slavic's not a country. He's on a team with Great Britain. Yeah, and he's obviously doing crazy things. He took something like 12,000 ducats in loans just to make manufactories, and I was like, "What is this economy you're doing?" Just modern day capitalism in 1600. Yes, love it.
Still not a whole lot happening around the sort of Pacific Sea around here.
No,
there's a war, but it's kind of just been stagnating for a bit.
It's very stagnated. I think they had the most heavies in the world for a little while, and they've used it to try and grab, I still need the name of this area, this peninsula here. And then they promptly lost it all to galleys, the galleys of Malacca and Brunei, who are now just stopping them from coming back out. Indonesia is part of Malaysia, Malacca, Malaya.
I guess that whole the Java Sea.
It's because like I was thinking, it's like, what is this actual peninsula? I know it's all Indonesia today, but like this is still like Brunei. This is Java. This is Sumatra. Either way, it's like I was looking for which bit this is without me going, this is British Malaysia. Because I spend too much hours in Hoi now, and that's all I look at. But yeah, so Orissa actually it can't move its troops home. It can't move more troops in. And that's it. That's the state of this war. They've got to come to an agreement, and they're just shouting each other against the Straits of Johor.
A lot of that would probably be happening offline as well. Like they're probably deep in the midst of actual
they're probably actually having an argument. They're probably in some part of the castle. Yeah, you've had the chance to walk through the castle a lot more than I have.
I have, and it is spicy. I haven't been too privy to any of the talks between Brunei and Malacca. I'm not even sure who they were originally. Do you know?
Brunei and Malacca.
I actually was trying to keep a well-organized Google Docs. I think, did I show you, Mathieu?
You had a Google Doc of who was who?
And I lost track. I think I went to sleep early one night, or I missed half an hour.
I think the Game Masters actually have that. We could.
Oh, okay.
We probably should have asked that, for that on day one of this game.
Yeah, it's more fun to guess.
I feel like it's more fun to guess. I think you're right. I think one of them might be the remnants from. No, what happened to Byzantium? Because they got kicked around a lot.
Byzantium became Georgia, and then they got kicked around again, and they spawned as Akalunu, and
then they lost that.
They lost that, and I don't know where they are now. They could be one of these nations.
Possibly. I wish it was like a log. Who won the Pope War? The Nopas won the Pope War.
But there wasn't a lot of territory ceded, so we were questioning earlier whether or not it was actually worth the bloodshed.
Speak of the devil, and up he pops. Levick walked into the room, I believe. But anyway, so Swabia somehow still alive as well. They haven't been declared war on. Byzantium became Mewar.
No, Mewar
really?
is either Perm or Pskov.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's
I can't remember which.
Russian.
They both became Mewar and Orissa. I can't remember who's who.
Because Ryazan became Russia. There's been so much going on. It's unreal. Were they? Did they get kicked out of Africa? Like what was the? Brazil formed. Oh, we've got a Brazil. Hello, Tinto.
Hey.
And they're a Grand Republic. So we've got President Baldwin Pignatelli. So he's a Catalan Catholic. Okay, Catalan Catholic Grand Republic of Brazil that came out of Sunni Jerusalem. I hope more than just my nose is bleeding at the history that's gone on here.
Is it a blessed timeline or a cursed timeline? I think it's blessed.
It's a blessed timeline.
It's the blessed of timelines, for sure.
And the blessed, instead of, I think the B is for bleed, as in nosebleed. So colonial ideas. They've still got their colonial ideas. What? They didn't take Brazil's ideas?
I guess the famous Brazilian Cossacks, yep.
Yes, they did have Brazilian Cossacks as well. Also, to note, Desmond, they're in Colombia. So our Irish miner, who is now, they picked to go to the Ivory Coast. I was speaking to them yesterday. They've picked the Ivory Coast to be their capital because in the modern day, it has the same flag as Ireland.
Oh.
So
does that mean Romania will eventually become Chad? Because they have the same flag in modern day times anyway. That could be interesting.
Wow.
Romania Chad.
Brazil's ideas are awful. Oh, okay, maybe. Fine. I mean, okay, that's the irony is not lost on me that the Tinto Debs have decided not to take a country's unique ideas because they think they're bad. Either way. But yeah, they're now going colonial because I think Desmond is now a strong part of this
Mamlukian, Andalusian, United States, Texas alliance. There's all the Sunni New World. The Mamluks were the head of this alliance, and are they still the #1 world power? No! Gotland is now #1. Gotland is the #1 world power, followed by the Mamluks, followed by Great Britain. I really don't know where all the development of the Mamluks is compared to these other nations. And how they don't have the economy to support anything. They haven't built the pyramids, which they can do as the Mamluks, and it's a decent. But they're just taking loans. They're about to go bankrupt. They're at the maximum amount of loans. They've got 5,000 ducats. They're losing 20 a month, so they can stand on this for a while. But the thing is, if someone declares war on the Mamluks, they take all their money. They can't recover from that. So I don't know what they're doing. Are they trying to force themselves into bankruptcy while there's pieces in order to get rid of all that interest? Because it is 67 ducats a month interest. Maybe. We've also... So people want to see a look at Gotland. So Gotland is now led by Grand Admiral Jacob Sandals. The world is led... The greatest power of the world is a grand pirate confederacy based out of... Are they still in the Bahamas as the capital? No, they've moved. They've moved from Paradox Island.
They're eating up Australia.
They're eating up Australia. Where is the capital, though? Where is the Gotland capital? Let us find... there we are. Okay, it's in New Gotland. The city is New Visby. They are full role-playing this nation. Why does Leon have... Oh, because Leon's been exodused to... yeah, okay, fine. I was like, what? There is still Portugal existing as well in the Caribbean. A lot... Basically, Iberia. They are all now just in the Caribbean like, no, you can have it. You can have Spain. It's cool. It's cool. The United States formed a Polish colony. Its name is... Do you want to attempt that?
Where are we?
There.
Because
I know I wouldn't. So there is a...
Needs it.
Right. There is a city...
Did they do that just to make us read it out on stream?
There is a Polish colony somewhere. There it is.
It's like the Gregor...
Or Infophilian, the big train station name.
Oh, the Welsh one?
Yes.
Glenfegs.
Yeah, Lymphophilian.
It's like knowing the first two
yeah, I can do the
points
end.
of pi.
Yes.
But it's like,
Yes.
I got the first two sounds.
Yes, it's pointless. It's it's the real answer there. But yes. So there's a Polish named Highlander Sunni part of Canada under America.
Amazing.
This is
Texas is getting big.
This is the joke about Polish people telling fake identity.
Oh, the
Lanfanfel. It's the middle bit that I always get stuck on the train station name.
Are you gonna make an attempt?
I'm not anymore.
I'm waiting.
No,
okay.
no.
Okay.
It was a big thing. That was a grand campaign thing. But now, it's just like.
Oh, okay. So that.
Look, chat.
Yeah.
I can barely do English. I barely English well. You bring any other language into it, as beautiful as they may be, I will destroy it. I am not the person you want there. We're in a really quiet period right now. Everyone is still reeling from that World War. There is one player war going on that is completely stagnated. Mm-hmm. How long do you reckon this is going to last? How long are these pieces going to last? Is it going to be literally as soon as someone feels like they've got enough manpower and the others don't? Because the manpower is now climbing. People aren't drilling to get their drill back, but also Silly became the emperor of the HRE in that massive war.
They did, but the empire has 3 electors, so it's kind of like, yeah.
And I wonder how the dual emperorship of Westphalia and who was the other one in that? I don't remember, but
I think Great Britain.
was it Great Britain as well? I wonder how they'll feel as there's now 3 emperors. Technically 4 if we count our good friends of Aachen, New Zealand, who have they've solidified New Zealand. Is it New Zealand or is it New Aachen? Like
It's got to be New Aachen. Where's their capital? Still in New Zealand somewhere?
Have they gone the historical capital? It's South. They've actually renamed some of these. But I think no, they've moved it from South Aachen, which is 64 dev province. Wild. Oh no, they've moved it up to New.
Here it is.
It's called
Neuachen.
Neuachen. So New Aachen. It's animist. It makes planks. That's where Wellington is, right?
I should know this because they're my neighbours.
Yeah.
But I've never.
Well, no, you're not a
Across the
Kiwi.
pond.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a big pond.
We like to claim each other's respective accomplishments.
Yes, that's true.
And they've still got a little bit in Australia.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So how long was your flight to be here for this in the middle of Poland?
The first was, I think, 16 hours, and the second, no, 14, and then, I don't know.
That's Auckland, sorry, not
Auckland,
Wellington's
okay,
the bottom of North Island. Thank you. But yeah, 16 hours and then...
I think 14 and then 6, but...
14 and then 6.
I'm used
It's
to
a
it.
day of travel. That is... I was complaining at my 2-hour flight of Ryanair. So that,
but that's Ryanair, so...
yeah, but that's still like a day. That's a full-on day. That's
you could be doing
amazing.
anything else, and you're sitting on a Ryanair flight.
Yeah, that's true. But is Aachen the World Bank? Aachen is an NPC character. We have 2 of them in the game. Aachen is the emperor. They have a lot of money because around the castle people have favors. They can go to the emperor, and since he's been broken out of prison now, I think, and trade those favors in for coin, for manpower. They used to be able to get armies, but since the emperor has been unceremoniously yeeted to Australasia, the interactions are limited. Chat's asking if you stream on Twitch at all.
I don't actually, but maybe I should.
Maybe you should.
It's fun.
Maybe you should.
I'm having fun. I'm just curious about. I really am dying to know what kind of conversations Swabia are having because, let's have another look. At least in game, they have one alliance with Hasa, who are nowhere near them, and they have no truces. They're surrounded by, do they have? No, they've got some recon. They've got a conquest and a reconquest. They've got a couple Casus Belli, but I don't know.
Yeah,
They're just there. They're just.
It would not surprise me. I think the thing is, I think one of the alliance chains need to try and get them in. If we're going to see a resurgence of the Popers and the Nopers, someone needs to get Swabia in because they do have mountain forts. Like their army is going to do nothing. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But they need to secure the alliance with them in order to make sure that the other team doesn't gobble them and vice versa. Because we're at the point in the game where land isn't the thing that's going to knock players out.
Yeah.
It's 1602. We haven't even got the CB that allows for lots of land to change hands yet. We don't have the imperialism CB. It's going to be down to the manpower, the pools, the recovery, the economy, and Swabia is just slap bang in the middle of where all the action happened. And whoever holds the key to Swabia will be able to, for example, if the Nopers get Swabia, there is another front to attack the Kingdom of God and Westphalia, and it means that all troop transfers from those 2 fronts have to go through France, for example. But if Westphalia and the Pope get Swabia on their side, it moves the front line much closer to the Nopers. They should declare neutrality. They did, pretty much. Whilst they were the instigators of the last war, they never joined it. And they riled everyone up, and then just went, Swabia guaranteed? Really? I missed that. Who by?
I'm also enjoying the irony that it seems that a lot of their land is within modern-day Switzerland, so makes sense for them to maintain that neutrality.
It's very true. And they did, well, that's funny because they betrayed Switzerland as well.
They did, yeah.
They crawled into Switzerland's skin and
Look
then...
at me, I am the Switzerland now.
Ah, dear. They're also integrating Bohemia because, yeah, that's a point. Swabia is also Bohemia. So it's two, they are the front line, and it's whoever's going to be able to secure them. How many players are there now? So there are still the same amount of teams. No teams have been eliminated from the game. And there, I think there's roughly 34 teams of 3 people. So over 100 players are playing in this land, as far as I'm aware. Demilitarized borderland, yes. Well, that's what they have been right now. But I think people had access last time, so it's... yeah. Who's the weakest team right now? Well, the people who lost that war were the Popers. And the thing is, though, the Popers were 5 nations against the entirety of the world. They went wild. Serbia holds Azov. I'm guessing that might be for focus tree reasons. Serbia and Romania have been working... Not focus tree, mission tree. Sorry, I'm too much hoy. They've been working together. They've been trading land. They've been making sure that they can complete their mission. So I'm guessing it's something to do there. But yeah, despite the fact they're outnumbered in terms of eyes and ability to maneuver armies, but they are the strongest nations. So even though they lost, with some good dice rolls, some good plays, they could still take this the next time.
I agree. For the person asking about the weakest, it seems someone has spawned as Shavshuvani.
Oh, that's one of the game masters, that nation.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Desmond?
Desmond's the weakest nation.
Weakest nation in terms of development. In terms of maximum manpower, it's actually Brazil. So, yeah, it depends on what you consider weak.
Okay, so chat wants to see the money graph. Let me remember where the economy stuff is. Oh, it's under economy, funny enough. Income comparison. Why is it? Oh, because I'm not on the main observe. Let's go players. And there, so currently the biggest in terms of total income is Great Britain, followed by Persia, followed by the Pope, followed by Westphalia, followed by Gotland. Gotland had sunk a few spots, I think. The Mewar, Serbia, Somalia, Scilly, Russia, France. Russia and France really low on that total income for where the, like how much they're having to fund troops and armies into this. And Livonia. The 3 big manpower-based nations that we have in these wars are really low income. So it's going to be up to the likes of Persia, Great Britain, and the Pope to fund them. Okay, so that, I think, if Livonia and France, 2 of the nations that are doing a lot of the heavy hitting in that last war for the Popers, can't sustain big enough armies there, I think when... I understand why they had to peace out when the Pope was fully sieged, because the Pope was the economy keeping them all in, other than Great Britain. And Great Britain is a weirdly inflated economy. It's... The thing is, with Great Britain's economy, their total income is massive, yes, but it's not where you think Britain would be in this period. They are... I don't... because they don't have the trade angle. Yes, they have dominance, massive dominance over the English Channel, and there's a lot of money coming into it. That's being pushed in by Gotland, that's being pushed in by the Americas, and they've not gone colonial. They don't have merchants, they can't move that around, they're not getting the provision, they don't have the colonial empire to back them up. So their economy is just production economy. And as far as I'm aware, and I kept asking about this, they haven't upgraded the Dutch polders. The Dutch polders at level 3 is global goods produced modifier 10%. I am a big big proponent of goods produced in the economy of the game, especially because I play a lot Bohemia, for example. So I don't have access to overworld trade. You need goods produced modifier. If they ramp this up, invest some money, I know they've been taking a lot of loans to get manufactories in, that will just skyrocket their economy. And the thing is, Britain's economy, of course, will skyrocket again in 1700 when we get the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution starts kicking off. But they've got a long ways to go yet, Hobbitsies. Yeah, I don't know how many manufactories they've got. Is there a way to check that fast? Is there a ledger for that? I don't know. I know they've got a lot of manufactories. Did Livonia manage to go Norse? Not yet. I don't believe the rebels broke the country. In fact, the rebels are gone. What happened with the rebels? Go to the menu to build manufactories and see how many free slots they have. Okay.
There are Norse missionaries being sent, though. So, but very, very slow.
So have they gone against their idea of going Norse? Because they were trying to get rebels to break the country to flip them.
I honestly can't tell. There are missionaries, but...
Well, if they're missionaries, that's probably trying to get them to go back to Catholic, right?
Well,
was the Gotland betrayal enough to make them stay Catholic? Is this pressure from the Pope? Very, very interesting. What am I looking for? I'm looking for build. Okay, they've built almost every province's manufactory Great Britain has. So they've got manufactories. If they can get that production efficiency up, their economy will just start really rampaging down. But right now, it's not up to snuff compared to what they're going to have to try and fund. I think at this point, the Poper's hope is if the Nopers nope. And the Nopers need to fall apart as an alliance chain. That, like you were saying earlier, the alliance of convenience needs to come toppling down before the Pope does anything, or the Nopers charge in for round 2.
I think so, but now I'm wondering if it is... I don't know, like how attractive would the Pope still be as a target? Do you think they're going to go again, or do you think they're going to shift their ambitions?
We're on the last day. I think, considering everybody's elation at probably winning that war, I think we'll see the Nopers go aggressive, and then that will come back to bite them. That's my guess. Isn't Catholic way better than Norse? It can be, especially with the Kingdom of God being a thing and being able to call crusades, etc. But yeah, where is your sense of memory? North Livonia is, of course, what you'd want to see in the Grandest Lan. Gotland's still got, they've got Danish separatists in Gotland. Interesting. Gotland is not really a land military at all. And they are actually just having rebel problems everywhere. Texas is looking mighty nice. They've started colonizing California. They might get a chance. There is already some gold spawned over here. So they're going to have an economic rush there. They're not making much money right now, though. How many colonies do they have on the go? Only 3? Could be going a bit faster. The Texans and the USA have made a deal to keep their borderline at the Mississippi as well. So, you know, we're going to have an East Coast, West Coast thing. And I think Texas got the better side of the deal there in terms of what land that they can grab.
Interesting to see how... So they're still allied with the United States. I wonder if they're going to try to hit or to fight back and drive Gotland out of America.
Interesting. You think we're going to see a conflict in the Americas between Gotland and the North American nations here?
Possibly. I mean, I think it'd at least be interesting.
I think Gotland would lose it, honestly.
I think they would. I mean, if I was Texas, that's what I would do. But
if you were Texas, that's what you'd do. So you're advocating that Texas go, hey, America, let's go to Mexico. Get in, kid, we're going to Mexico. And they start driving down. See, the USA they're not close to the Great Power List, nor is going to be Texas, if I look either. Gotland is the #2 world power, but that is because of naval and trade dominance more than anything. They've got a lot of development, but it's on their islands. I think they could hurt them. I think they could hurt them for Mexico.
I think they could. I mean, it depends on what kind of game they're going for, really.
Texas has the best national ideas in the New World. Yes, I agree. Because you can essentially ignore religious unity, but they're asking what Gotland ideas are, and I will explain what the Guntish ideas are. Or is it Gutnish? Gutnish ideas. These came in with Lions of the North, obviously the most recent DLC, and they get development cost, mercenary maintenance, ship cost, global trade power, merchants, a naval force limit modifier, and interest per annum with the core creation costs, privateer efficiency, and trade efficiency. So very trade, very pirate.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no mill ideas in there, so they are not a military power. They are a naval power. So their land, that's up for grabs. Orissa is having some proper rebel problems at this point. Look at that. Oh, that's a pretender force in its entirety. Are they getting called for peace and just ignoring it, and it's driving up their... No, they're only at 8 war enthusiasm. This eternal stalemate here has been very interesting. I think they actually have a land connection now as well through Pegu. Yeah, they do. So they can actually walk here without risking the naval everything.
Of which they don't have much.
Of which they don't have. But yeah, this is just like, we got to stand, we got to wave, we got to pretend to shoot at each other every now and then, and we got to get paid. That's how it's going. How good is their monarch? Their monarch is a 4-2-3, whereas this guy would be a strong C. Yeah, it's the right religion. I was just making sure it wasn't something there. I don't know why they don't just accept this, honestly. Either way, the game feels currently tense. It's the calm before another storm. Everyone is hurting from that previous war. So many casualties, so much economy, so much was thrown into the fields of Treviso, and I don't know what the next battle line is going to be. If we're going to see a conflict erupt elsewhere first, or if we're just waiting until the Pope First Nope showdown begins again. The Pope, notably, these rhymings are starting to get to my head, has cut down their army. They've only got 60,000 men in the field now. I don't know if that's to try and generate more manpower recovery and drill, but they've really not got men in the field anymore.
Maybe they're just like sort of going back to this idea of them being, I guess, the World Bank, so to speak. That was kind of their strength for a bit.
Yeah, for a long time, especially around the halls of the castle, the Pope was being very diplomatic, if I remember correctly, from what I've heard from behind my tech desk. So maybe they're trying to go, okay, we overstretched. It's fine. The Pope, Andalusia and the Pope exchanged provinces in Iberia, it seems like. Oh, they did. Gibraltar is now back in the hands of Andalusia. Andalusia still doesn't own all of Upper Andalusia yet, but I think they're trying to work on those relations and trade those back and forth. Okay, maybe the rule of getting out of Iberia is just going to happen slowly over time. Maybe that's the deal. In a reparations kind of way. Livonia is actually dealing with Gotland's rebels for them. So even though they were against each other in that previous war, no love lost between the Norse and the Livonians. That's interesting to see. We thought that this was going to be the end of Gotland tip. Swedish tip, and no, they're keeping it apparently. Livonia's like, yeah, no hard feelings. Russia, of course, and Livonia also still have that age-old pact to, yeah, even if we're going to fight, we're not going to fight on our border. We're going to fight elsewhere. You go west, I'll go east. Cool. Shake hands. It's kind of just, yeah. There are some powers that are like, we'll fight each other, but not actually fight each other anywhere else. We'll just put our armies and shoot. It's interesting. Please show the funny provinces in the Sinai.
Oh, funny, hey.
Persian Jerusalem. I didn't notice that one before. Hassas gained some land as well. Did they gain that? They must have gained that from the Mamluk law. Wait.
Where have they gone?
Silly gained Alexandria. Swear that was owned by the
Oh,
the Pope
Silly's-
has sold all of its colonies in the Mamluks to Silly. I swear they went to the Pope. The Pope doesn't have cause, but he could have sold them beforehand. Did I misread that piece still at the end? Interesting, if that's the case. So Silly has warm water ports. They were papal. Yeah, I was right. Persia held the Red Sea coast at some point. Okay, so that whole alliance chain are just trading, is what it seems.
Serbia got Jerusalem. No, I think it's Persia.
Wait, Silly and the Pope were against each other previously, and now the Pope has traded those lands for Silly? Is that a play to gain Silly as their alliance for the next war?
Possibly. I think so.
Is that... Yeah, is that the Pope buying loyalty there? That could be sneaky, because then that puts the battle land border on Serbia and Romania's front.
So it's essentially kind of consolidating Europe.
Mm-hmm. Because the problem that they had previously was Swabia wasn't in the war, and then it was Northern Europe and the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Northern and Western Europe and the Pope. They had two fronts. Down here, which was being held by France and France alone, and then the mountains. And the mountains were treacherous. They're great for defending at first, but the thing is, once those mountain forts started to fall, the fallback land was the papal economy. Yes, it's not as defensible terrain here in Hungary, or what was Hungary, and Serbia. Well, maybe it is further south. It pulls the fighting away from the economy and gives them places to push out. Did you say Papal Russia War? Nepal-Russia War, sorry? Russia's not at war. I was like...
I think that's maybe a prediction.
Oh,
Nepal and Russia.
Nepal-Russia War. I mean, they were on the same side last time. We could see a battle over Chagatai. Chagatai, of course, bringing in an insane amount of cavalry combat ability. So they are building essentially horse stacks to back up the Persian army. In fact, there is a Persian stack sitting in Chagatai. What are you doing here? You're far from home. Chagatai is at war, but they're just trying to connect up their lands that they gained from Manchu. Also, that was a very bizarre change of territory here. Manchu had the Beijing region and then just gave it to Chagatai. And we were like, oh, Manchu could form Qing. And as Christo said it, they changed hands. And we were like, oh, okay, then there goes our conversation that we just had for the last 20 minutes.
That's it. Like I feel like almost every prediction that we've heard on stream has been. There's just so much going on that it's
I mean,
complete chaos.
If truth be told, the entire time that people were going, I think Swabia is going to start the World War, I was sat behind the casket desk going, Serbia's going to be the cause, and they kind of were. So I'll take that as a win. But now I really don't know. I just really don't know what's going on. This is the thing I've noticed, though, with the Manchu, Korea, Japan players. I think they're a little hesitant. Maybe they're not as comfortable with the big being aggressed upon. They're happy to help out in wars, but these guys were part of the North German team that exodused. And they exodus after losing a war. They didn't lose land. They just lost the war, and then they were like, nope, we're going to move to a different part of the world. And we were like, oh.
Well, they did lose some land, and it was
Okay.
quite... They pretty much lost their entire coastal land.
Did they?
Their access to the Baltic Sea was just...
No, I thought they'd left, and then that peace deal went through, though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I'm not 100%,
Okay.
but I think
Okay.
I think that went like in a secondary conflict. Either way, but even so, it's like I don't know if there was a deal done for that Manchu War, but it was like the first conflict they had. We were like, yeah, we get to watch them fight. They're gone.
Oh, they lost after losing the coast. I was right.
Okay, you were right. Okay, my mistake. I'll roll that back, chat. What do I know?
You're just a Hoi player.
I'm just a sad Hoi. No, I have more hours in EU4 than I do Hoi.
Good man.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, I'm not gonna.
What?
I'm not gonna question your loyalties in public.
What's your favourite Paradox game? Let's question your loyalties in public. Let's go.
All right. If I had to make a prediction, for prediction's sake, just throwing it out there, I reckon they're going to consolidate Europe and try to hit Serbia. Try to take some of that Balkan land.
Yep.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. What do chat think? I'm curious to know what.
Yeah, what do chat think? Where do you think the next flashpoint of conflict is going to be? I like the avoidance of the question of what's your favourite Paradox game, though.
Just a casual sidestep. They're all beautiful. Brazil. Well, Brazil, I think, doesn't have much of an army right now, so they're going to be having a hard time.
Oh, what is that name placement? As no, it's changed again. Azil. They are alphabety spaghetti right now. You vote India. India could be an interesting flashpoint for a Contra.
People really want Swabia to die. That's
it's because Swabia didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, Swabia at the beginning of the stream had a video get played of like them trying to rile up chat to attack the Pope and call for it. And they were like really going around. They were trying to, and they were really trying to push everyone to attack the Pope, but then they didn't join. It was very spicy, if I do say.
Spicy. Are all states human players?
At this point, I think so.
There are some. Well, Bohemia
no, there's some in
is
Asia.
a vassal.
That's a vassal of a player. Some
in
Bavaria
Asia.
is also a march.
There are still a few places in South America and
North America, yeah. Castile, I think, is a vassal of Andalusia. Yes, and they're being integrated now. Fantastic. That's good. The previous casters were saying that Andalusia needs to secure the integrations of Leon, Castile, and Portugal in order to gain their colonies and solidify their colonial control. Otherwise, they could lose them in wars. Just look at the player map mode. Yeah, if I can find it. It's not my map mode layout. Found it. So yes.
Oh, yeah, see, yours is also different from mine.
Yeah, so there's a few gaps, but if anyone was to die now, I doubt they would get respawned.
It is the last day.
It is the last day. I don't know if there's any nation big enough for them to get respawned into. The only thing I could think of is instead of an elimination, they become, for example, a march of the nation that beats them, and they are forced to be servants. Congo's left? Yeah, but... listen. Listen. Congo don't look so good right now.
How is Russia making money yet? Last I checked, they'd pretty much built army back up. Yeah, they've got 220,000 manpower. In terms of money, how are they doing?
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. 91 ducats a month in profit. Total income of 161. So
no loans either.
No loans right now. They're looking pretty solid.
They keep getting whenever they fight, they just throw their all into it, get like completely drained, and then before you know it, they're back up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the manpower pools of all the nations that were involved in that Great War are looking better.
It's a real sort of Zerg rush kind of strategy.
Britain's manpower pool is almost 500,000 with 5,600 gained each month. Wow. Wow. Okay, so that's where their economy was going. They were building soldiers' houses.
Oof.
Their manpower gain is insane. Look at that. From provinces, 338,000 manpower. 15% from strength from the noble privileges, increased levies, and levy on mass. Did they go quantity?
It's their government.
They went quantity. Brutal. So, and yeah, that's...
Yeah, and their government as well. They've got like a lot of manpower modifiers.
You're right, they do. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's more military. Great Britain is more militarized than they look. Far more militarized than they look. And the only thing that they're low on right now is army tradition. They've still got a 6.4 from morale. Their discipline is 115, which is a little lackluster, but they are the bodies. I think if they can coordinate well in the next war with whoever their allies may be, I'm not going to, if it be the Popers or if they change completely. And in fact, that's actually what they're doing. I was going to say, they don't want to build the cavalry or really that many cannons. They want to be infantry, and they are all pure infantry stacks pretty much.
They're almost at max drilling.
Yeah, the game is too early right now for the combat width to really... I mean, cannons have started becoming a bigger thing, but the backline efficiency isn't as much as it will be in 100 years' time. Infantry and having that defensive body of infantry is still the thing that a lot of, for example, Persia's alliance chain, the Nopas, were missing in the later half of their war. So this is the right move from Great Britain. This is the right call for their alliance chain, and that will help out. That also gives people like Swabia the opportunity to, say, take more cannons and take artillery combat ability if they've gotten it. They've got a little bit. I think they could probably grab a little bit more, but most of Westphalia's armies here, do have cannons. Therefore, Britain doesn't need to build cannons because everyone else has already got them. Probably the same with the Pope. They're probably what they're doing. They've probably coordinated and said, hey, you guys be the cannons. Give yourselves a little bit of infantry to make sure that if you do get attacked first, you don't get caught out completely. I'll run around with the Horde, the Zerg Rush of Great Britain. It's an interesting tactic.
Yeah, we'll see how it works for them.
There's Norse rebels back in Livonia. They're trying again. Did someone in the war previous sneak up and kill their rebels or something? Maybe.
I missed that. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see what happened to the previous rebels.
I think... Oh no, Livonia was helping Gotland with their rebels.
Hot take. Silly is going to switch sides and take that Serbian land. I don't think that's that hot a take. I think that's the correct take. However, I don't know. Ooh, they're in religious turmoil. I don't know if it's going to be them that the aggressors, though. I feel like that will be the war goal for the Popers. However, I've just got this sneaky feeling, especially with these troops moving slowly closer to those borders, that the Nopas are going to be the ones that fire it, or at least some of the Nopas. I think we'll see Romania, Russia, Serbia, and Persia at least. Maybe not the Mamluks. I think everybody has realized, oh, the Mamluks aren't really reliable. Religious map mode, please. Okay. There's the religious map mode. It's mainly Orthodox. Catholicism is having a little bit of problems since the Reformation, and Norse is out and raring, slowly making its way through Mexico. Sunni, the dominant religion of the New World. We've got a wide variety of religions in this matchup today.
We had someone just earlier, I think it's gone now from the chat, but
Alex did get Alexandra back.
Someone was new to the stream and wanted to see what China looked like.
Oh, I will show that. I'm sorry that China doesn't exist right now. But Silly just gave the Mamluks their land back.
Oh. That's interesting.
But this is China. It is now Nepal. Again, this, I think, just this being the way China looks right now would mean that we can't be shown in China. Yeah, so Mamluks gained its territory back. Why? Who is this? Serbia is privateering off of the coast of Italy. They're taking that papal gold. Serbia, what navy have you built? Is it just light ships? If so, you're wrong. You shouldn't have done that. Because I don't know if you can rely on the fact that Gotland will come and save you every time. Where is your naval? Okay, you've got 60 ships right now. 36 of them are lights. I would just be full 78 galleys and try to take out the papal naval superiority. Because if you destroy the Pope's ships, then you can take off like 20 of your galleys, destroy them, build up some cogs mid-war, and do some landings and cause chaos that way. You've got to try and... I know it's futile. It's somewhat futile when the Pope has 129 ships that they're doom-stacking around. They don't have any naval ideas. And Serbia, you are the only person with Mediterranean ports, really, of your alliance chain. I would be looking to become probably your team's navy controller a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have to keep relying on Gotland. Unless that's what, say, the USA are doing, which I don't think it is, no. Or Texas. Texas is only Tech 14. Texas is very... And Gotland, actually, is also Tech 15. Very behind on the military techs, considering Serbia, for example, on Tech 17. The Pope, Tech 17. People going very ahead of time on these mil techs to make sure that they are ready for the next war. 180% ahead of time without having global trade, so it's probably about 90% ahead of time. Or is the richest trade node? I think it's the English Channel. Even without looking, I think it's the English Channel. Purely for the local trade bonus. I'm looking for the trade map mode. Here it is. Yes, English Channel. Yeah, at almost 100 ducats. I think it was over 100 ducats at one point. But, again, we are in this stationary period where the battle lines are going to slowly be drawn and the troops are going to be readied. We are starting to see slight maneuvering near the borders. Currently, we've just got some Serbian troops looking at some silly troops. Oh, silly. Look, what... Silly's got such a silly hat. That.
It's
Air horn, nice.
No comment. Also, I didn't realize that Silly's kind of acting as, I don't know if you'd call it like a buffer state between
everyone,
West and East. Yeah. So currently, most of their alliances are with the, I guess, the new Eastern Bloc. We could call them, so like Serbia, Romania, Russia. But they're also on good terms with the Papal State, I believe, or they have historically been.
Yeah, they historically were until that previous war.
Yeah.
And then we thought they were going to be again because we saw that the Pope gave Silly Mamluk land, but Silly has given the Mamluk land back to the Mamluks. So maybe they are still in with the Nope crowd. If that's the case, then again, my assumption of the battleground again becomes northern Italy and Swabia and Westphalia. And once they break through those forts, there's no place to retreat to before their economy starts shuffling. Unfortunately, there is no world in which I think Silly doesn't become a battleground state. However, I think it's better for the rest of the world if they're on the Pope... Well, it's better for the Pope side anyway, if they're on the Pope team to be the front line, rather than being the Nopa's front line, if that makes sense.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think they would probably want to have Silly on their side, sure.
Yeah. Rissa just absolutely being devastated by these pretender rebels.
Yeah.
That have just...
So that's the... I think some people in the chat are just noticing the blue flames at the moment. So this has kind of been going on for how long? The last 10, 15 years?
Yeah,
Longer?
this happened mid the massive world conflict. This happened like halfway, probably about an hour and a half ago at this point in game time. And they've just been staring at each other across the Straits of Johor, just going, can we have this yet? No. Oh. That's the entire interaction there.
So Rissa and Pegu, pretty much no navy to speak of. Malacca, Brunei, and Min, pretty much no army to speak of, so they're kind of just... Yeah. It's not a war, it's a 2-hour-long staring contest, yeah, pretty much.
Just don't make eye contact. Their vision's based on movement. Just fully there. Yeah, there is no there is nothing going on there.
Yeah, although they
sadly.
are dealing with some internal turmoil.
The most exciting thing going on right now is the fact that the Norse rebels are back in Livonia. We may see the Northern Griffin turn to Norse once more. Oh, I thought that was von Württemberg, as in the people that normally start in one of the HRE minors. No, it's von Wartenberg. It's a misspelling. It's not even the same royal family. I was like, hang on, what? Oh, they just killed the Norse rebels.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're not... I'm very confused. I don't know what they want. Make up your mind. Because if you let's have another look at their religion tab.
So the provinces are flipping to Norse. They're trying to I remember why they were trying to convert them. They were trying to convert them to make the... they were probably trying to convert them with no missionary slider in order to make the rebels pop.
Oh, yes, that's why that wasn't moving. Yeah.
But
then they also...
why are they killing the rebels? Can they already accept? No, they can only accept they need to be forced into Norse. They can't accept it because they're Catholic. They can only pick a Christian faith.
Is Scilly able to form Austria? I'm not sure, but I think even if they could, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they can, but they don't want to because one of the players from Scilly is from Scilly itself. And they fancy being Scilly.
Yes. And good on them. I mean, it's just beautiful. They've lasted this long and they've prospered and they've positioned themselves in such an important spot as well.
Yeah, they really have.
Well, that's silly. I disagree. I think it's beautiful.
I have a question. Do you think we're going to see a Phoenix rise? Do you think we're going to see Byzantium out of Serbia?
Ooh, wait. Sorry, who's Byzantium again now? Are they Persia?
Oh, no, Byzantium I think are somewhere in they're somewhere in either, I think they were like in Brunei or somewhere. They're all the way out. They got kicked out multiple times. Because they became AQ, who then died to
Yes.
Persia and to Serbia.
Yeah,
and
we were
Shivran.
talking about this earlier and I still was like, I have no idea.
They'd need to culture switch to Greek, if I'm not mistaken. Which they could do.
Yeah.
Possibly. It's getting up there. It's 19%. They're majority Turkish right now. Serbian is now lower. They might be going for it. Byzantium, Georgia, Shirvan, and Persia. Really?
The knights were Shirvan. Oh, so they must have kind of... Can you do that? Can you?
No, I thought what...
Yeah, the knights were Shirvan.
yeah.
And they became Persia.
So I think Byzantium went Byzantium... I think with the Byzantium went Byzantium, Georgia, AQ... Eh?
Question mark.
That's where we
Yeah.
lost them.
Yeah.
The fourth death was too many for me to register.
You could say Texas is a bit of a Phoenix state, sort of.
True, very true.
Oh, I saw you wince at that.
Yeah, no, I did. I did. Serbia is actually a theocracy as well. They're not a monarchy; they're a theocracy. So the patriarchy is strong. That's pretty fantastic.
Great Britain manpower, 466k.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that it's almost 500k in the bank with 6,000 each month.
And that is almost like 3/4, if not more of that, is coming from provinces.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's honestly wild. I think this is going to come down to the manpower pools in the economy. The problem that the Popers have is the fact that, again, with Scilly being on the wrong side of things, Scilly has been fortifying as well. Look at that. There is a new line of forts coming through Scilly's territory. But yeah, the thing is, the Pope has amazing. The Alpine forts in this game are, they are classic. They are the place to defend. However, they've got nothing after that. After that, the hordes just can devastate their country, and it's what we saw. That's how they got pushed out of the war previously. That's how the previous war ended. Once Treviso and Trentino fell, that was it. They just pushed on through.
That is a lot of level 4 castles. Force.
Yeah. So again, there's not enough room to retreat from. And Westphalia has like Castle Westphalia, Fortress Westphalia. They are just ready to. They have made every defense line they can possibly get to. I don't think that there is a province that is not affected by a fort in some way. They have fallback line after fallback line. The Pope kind of also might need to do that. The problem with these two nations, however, being the defensive nation states, is they're part of the economy more than anything. Kingdom of God is the third economic power. Great Britain is this alliance's main economic power. They need to be able to fund the reinforcing armies and the mercenaries of Livonia and France and Westphalia. And if they're sieged, they can't do that.
Sieged and...
We are almost done with us two, however. So, again, slightly quieter session here for us. I will probably step away right before the end, obviously, to help with the transition, because, that's what I'm meant to be doing today. But they couldn't keep me away from streaming for 3 days. It was too tempting for me to not sit down.
You just had to take over.
Okay, so final prediction. What do you think we're going to see later? Because we will be back later to have another look at this. What do you think we're going to see?
Hey, more blue flames.
Oh, we got blue flames?
Hey.
Right as we're about to step away, Serbia is at war. Serbia has joined the Orissa conflict?
What? That is a strange
Orissa and
development.
Serbia and Somalia have both stepped in to... This is welcome to the defenestration of Orissa. They are being thrown out of a castle window right now, it seems, because I thought Malacca is just okay. What this is to affirm they want to make sure that Brunei and Malacca's navies come in against the Pope.
Oh,
that's what I think this is going to be.
Yeah, because they are still not great when it comes to naval power. So yes,
yep,
that would
and
make
also
sense.
Somalia, you're right, does own Ceylon, so Somalia could gain some land here, and they are already putting troops in the field. Orissa has got to be shaking right now. Orissa was, I think Orissa was. Who was Orissa? They were one of the
either Perm or Pskov. I can't remember which.
I think it's Pskov.
Pskov.
I go because that nation, that Russian nation next to Livonia, that survived a lot longer than I thought they would. But yeah, they're going to be quaking in their boots right now. There's a lot of people coming across their border. Hassas also come into this as well.
Yeah, they're not. I wonder if this came at a surprise to Orissa. Like, has this sort of wheeling and dealing been happening underneath their noses? Because they, let's see, do they have any in-game alliances?
Yeah.
They've got Nepal and Siam.
If they've got Nepal and Siam, I'd hope they'd be calling those alliances right now. Like, hey, I need you to step in a little bit now.
Answer the phone, please.
And do you know what? That would make it that your prediction of India being a battleground state would be correct.
There you go.
So they can't call them no, but they could be saying there's a border there. There's a border there. Nepal can go, or Siam can go. Yeah, let's get a claim. Let's try and help out here because at this point it's looking a little bit rough. They could also no CB. No CB is best CB. Serbia joined the war without a casus belli, or how did this happen? It's because it was a defensive call, I believe. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been the same war. So they've purposely defensively allied into this war to get a part of the conflict.
Orissa concentrating their manpower on this little peninsula that they've occupied of Malacca.
And Serbia has access through Persia. I'm guessing Orissa has access through Mewar because the Serbians are just walking here. They are in India. They have walked. And they're gonna come and yeah, it's Orisa. I think GG well played at this point. I
Yeah.
think you're not going to get what you wanted from this war. They need to peace out now. They need to be working out this peace deal and just white peace, I think.
Yeah, because Somalia is about to drop. Well, I don't know, they've already dropped
Yep.
a whole lot of troops there.
In fact, Malacca, they're coming across the strait. They've come back. Orissa's having to pull back, and for that, they're losing everything that they've gained. This war has gone from a staring contest to a quaking contest, and yeah, they are unfortunately, I think, not looking too good, Mr. Stark. But we need to close this out for us. We'll be back a bit later, so be around for that. I'm going to quickly hop around the table to make sure that this transition happens. So if you want to close us out, that would be wonderful.
Brilliant. All right, thanks everybody for watching.